Hi everyone, thanks so much for coming. Do you all take your seats? Thank you.
Great.
Thanks everyone, thanks so much for coming. It's a strange time of year to have the AGM, but you'll see we've been up to all sorts of things to try and make life in Parkhurst easier and a bit better for all of us. And that's the reason for the delay. So thank you all for coming, we really do appreciate you turning out. I hope you've all grabbed a bottle of water, perhaps a little something to fill the gap in your tummies as we go home for supper. That's thanks to Steve and Kevin sitting at the back. This evening, are there any apologies? I have three, from Linda Faree, from Alvin Peter, and also from Tim Jula, who's been moved to a town planning matter rather urgently. Are there any other apologies to be noted? No. Okay. Thanks very much. Just before we get started, there are a few rounds of thanks that I'd just like to extend to Tim in his absence, I think, for being a very active ward councillor and really for being on top of things, a great supporter of the association. So to him, thanks for that. To the school for hosting us, to Cool Ideas and Hotel for the Wi-Fi, thanks so much. If you need to access Wi-Fi, just have a look, it's there quite obviously. To the various businesses in Parkhurst that have sponsored us with our various initiatives during the past year and a bit. Without you, really, our events wouldn't have been the successes that they have been. And then finally, to the committee who served Parkhurst so very, very well and worked very hard to do what we've done. Thank you to all of you. I know that sometimes we forget that you've got lives and day jobs and things, but we really do appreciate it, and I think the results are clear for everyone to see. Here we have the agenda. If you can just have a look at that, bear in mind what's going to be going on. There are a few house rules for this evening. I think, first of all, we'd like you to bear in mind that we won't be taking any questions during the presentations of each of the portfolio. We're going to take questions at the end, time dependent. We're trying to keep this meeting as best possible to an hour. And we'd like you to bear that in mind. So we'd like the questions that are asked to be as general as possible, as applicable to the most number of people as possible. So, rather about that one particular branch that's handing over your particular property in 1 month of the year, not so much about that if possible. Please, those sorts of things bring to us after the meeting. We would also like you to bear in mind that when you do stand up to ask a question, please introduce yourself, give us your name, tell us which street you live in, those sorts of things. What's the other one? Sorry, I'm a bit disorganized because I left my printout at the office. So my apologies for doing that. If there are any more issues around that, I will raise them. Minutes of the previous AGM, would you like to talk to that? No. All right, we have the minutes of the AGM. I can put them up.
You might have warned me, but no.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was right. Here we go. We've got very simple minutes. What we're doing is minuting essentially only decisions that have been made. I shall read them out. If anyone would like to raise any questions, please do, and we can either accept or reject those minutes. So, first of all, Cheryl Lavis-Gaffney welcomed all. Apologies from Jenny Cruz-Williams and Tim Truder. Thanks were extended to the school for hosting, to Tim for his support as a counsellor, and to the Z Watts for playing a crucial role in growing Praboa membership over the year. Thirdly, minutes of the previous AGM were accepted without change. They were proposed by Natalie Zimmerman and seconded by Colin Brodie. Finance, the financial statements were accepted without change. They were proposed by Nina and seconded by Siko Sitole. Environment, Natalie Zimmerman reported on education programs undertaken with learners at Parkhurst Primary School, on clean-up days along the Spruit in Parkhurst, and also on Spruit Day, which sought to clean up about 25 kilometres of the Braamfontein Spruit, and this is a coordinated effort of various communities along the Spruit. Building and town planning, Greg Hirschton outlined the work done by Praboa around building control, heritage, compliance, and commercial development. Verity Park, Paul Johnson described the facilities available at Verity Park and announced that Praboa would invest in new playground equipment in the children's play area at Verity Park. Egoli Gas, representatives from Egoli Gas gave a short presentation on services available in Parkhurst and were available after the meeting to answer questions about the rollout of the gas network to further homes. Safety, James Bowling explained the process underway to identify a security solution for Parkhurst and called on volunteers to form a steering committee to drive the selection and implementation process. On fibre to the home, Ryan Hawthorne described the rationale behind the decision to explore the possibility of having fibre to the home rolled out throughout Parkhurst and explained the benefits of fibre to the home overall. It's scary to think that at our last AGM we didn't yet have fibre, how the world has changed. Projects, the Z Watts called for volunteers to assist with the planning of the Parkhurst Village Fair and also reports on the success of the Easter egg hunt and the Halloween event. At the close of the meeting, a committee was elected. The following people were elected to the committee: Cheryl Lavis-Gaffney, Colin Brodie, Paul Johnson, James Bowling, Natalie Zimmerman, Ryan Hawthorne, and Greg Hirschton. Just a note, it's not from the AGM itself, but during the course of the year, we need to have this noted. We co-opted extra people onto the committee, those being Lizette Watts, Diamond, and Paul. Are there any questions around the minutes? Are there any issues to be mentioned or any things that need to be added? May I have someone to propose the minutes, please? Philippa, and seconded by Maris. Thank you. Accepted. Right, we go back to this. In terms of the report of the chair, that being me, I really don't have much to report from myself. I think the most important thing that I could say for this year and this committee and what we do in Parkhurst is that this really isn't about me. It's about this incredible group of people who put their hands up to make the community a better place. We've got the most wonderful, incredibly hard-working committee. And without them, and without the individuals in Parkhurst who come up with ideas, some of them completely crazy and mad, but actually end up working, and some of them that seem infinitely sensible, but for whatever reason, just don't take flight. But this is about the community of Parkhurst. For me to do a chair's report, I think is a bit presumptive. It really is about all of you bringing us ideas, raising challenges, and allowing us the latitude to explore ways to make things better for all of you. So for that, I want to thank the committee enormously and to the community as well. Thank you so much for caring where you live. We continue to see Parkhurst and provide an innovation hub. You know, if we look at Incredible Edible Parkhurst, which is not a Praboa initiative, but we do support it. They were at the village fair at our tables. We'd love to be able to use our distribution network. We'd love to be able to use our communications and so on to encourage people to do things that they feel particularly passionate about. It's when people care about something and they're passionate about it that they will make a success of it, and they will create an environment that other people feel that they want to join success. And to all of you who come to us with ideas and who've actually rolled up the sleeves to get things done again, thank you very, very much. In the course of this year, we have been incredibly busy trying to raise the Residents' Association to a whole new level. Our AGM was delayed, as we announced it would be, and that is because there is an incredible amount of work going on in the background. We wanted to be in a position to be able to explain what those changes are going to be looking like. We're trying to professionalize the organisation to some extent without making it a very corporate structure. We do want to improve the automation so that you can manage your own older things, you can decide what news feeds you get, all of those sorts of things. We've been trying systems and getting things done. Ryan and Justin will be able to talk to that if necessary. We also believe that if we can automate a lot of the administration that sits behind Praboa, we can also then focus on doing the high-touch stuff like the village fair, like the Halloween things that Lizette spends an incredible amount of time and effort on. Yeah, and I'm going to allow each portfolio holder to speak for themselves because I think that you honestly need to see the variety of people who've got involved to make Parkhurst what it is. In terms of our membership, we still need to focus on growing membership. To think that 4 years ago we were sitting with something like 30 members, we've now got about 230, and we've doubled in the last year alone. So, you know, we've still got a long, long way to go, but we've come an incredibly great distance in the last year alone. And for that, I thank all of you. And that's my report. If there are any questions, I'll take them at the end under general. Thank you so much. Colin, would you like to talk to finance?
Thanks, Cheryl. Good evening, everyone. Cheryl said I mustn't talk for longer than 2 hours, so I will try and be brief. The accounts are on the website, so I'm not going to go into them in detail. The exciting news is that as part of our growth, they're going to be audited this year, and I'd like to thank Mario Bari for coming forward and doing this. During the year, do you want to put it on up? Sure. Yeah. Okay. As part of the restructuring, we lost a year in our accounts because we ended in December 2013, and our accounts for 2015 run from January 2014 to February 2015. So you'll see there's, on the right, there's a column 2013, there's 2015. We haven't started any money in 2014. I just want to point out the way it's laid out, the income and expenditure bit on top, that's really what's keeping the organization afloat. And then the important thing is the project income in the second half. If we just slide it up a bit, you'll see we made losses on the Verity Park show, the picnic, the village fair, we made losses in 2015. This was building the brand. Sorry, 2014 in this year. At year to date, we're sitting with 250,000 rands in the bank because the succeeding one, having built the foundations, we now are running. We've got an incredible brand for our Verity Park events and people come through. So that's really all I want to say. We ended the year, you can see that last figure of 71,000. About the same as the previous year because we're not really in business to retain money. Whatever we raise, we spend in the community. So that's all. Yeah. The Verity Park thing was, it's more an investment. As if those of you go into the park, you see there's benches, there's signage. So that was what it is. Because Verity Park is the key to it. I just want to say that the organization, as I've indicated, we've gone from 71,000 in the bank to $250,000 in the bank. As a result, partly of the fibre that's raised awareness and membership, and also with Safe Parks, which we urge you to attend, people are getting more involved. So we're going to now, we're moving forward, we've got an auditor, we're going to be a lot more professional. We're also trying to form a finance subcommittee to manage budgets properly. Also, if I fall under the bus, there has to be some continuity and succession planning. Anybody who wants to get involved, please do. Finally, I just want to thank, apart from Mario and Cheryl for the work they've done, in no particular order, people who've assisted me are Ryan, Rosette, Chris, Andrew and Lisa just coming in. And we're looking forward to moving forward. Please ask your friends to get involved. There's a sign at Pick and Pay in Craighall. You need us and we need you. Thanks.
Apologies for this.
You want more light? Oh, sorry, bring glasses.
Sorry about this. We need to have all of those on a single presentation. Right, can we move on to systems and communication? Ryan, do you want to tell everyone all the clever things that you've been doing?
Sure, so Justin's actually responsible for a lot of the clever stuff that's been happening. What we have, for one thing, is fiber to the home, which is great, which we didn't have a year ago. We also have an online membership management system that we use, so you can sign up and you can pay online. That's also thanks to a program in the community called Paul Scott, who helpfully developed a payments integration system for us. So, and what we have on the system so far is 228 members currently. That kind of ebbs and flows. So we'd urge you all to please sign up on the website to the extent that you haven't. We also have forms outside of the door. Other than that, we have several domains, as you might be aware, either Parkhurst, parkhurstvillage.com, parkhurst.org.za. And that is about the sum of it. Justin, do you want to add to that?
Hi guys. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really going to add much to that. I think Ryan's spoken quite a bit about the infrastructure and stuff that we've implemented. I think that one of the major communication tools that we use for Parkhurst Village is the Facebook group. And that, as you have noticed, has grown quite substantially over the last number of months, and we're almost at 10,000 members now. Now, because of that, along with that has come a lot of spam and, dare I even say, pornographic material. So we've had to do quite a bit of management around that, and we've actually made the group a secret group. A lot of people have had an issue with that being a secret group, saying that we're sort of hiding ourselves. We're not really. We just really need to take control of the content. We do need to realize that a lot of residents' children are actually on the group as well. So we made the group as the spam and sort of thing has dropped quite significantly on that. In terms of the websites, so we've got the parkhurstvillage.com website, which we've just done a redesign over the last year. It integrates quite nicely with our membership system, so it enables people to go onto the website. They can update their membership online using their credit card or via EFT. On top of that, I've also been involved in the Safe Parks website. It used to be a standalone website. We've decided to now bring it in-house, and it now sits within the Parkhurst Village portfolio on the website itself. We are looking, even though we have actually built the website on this membership backend, we've just noted a few issues with regards to the flexibility of the front of building the site, what we can do on the front end. So we're looking at other alternatives and cheaper alternatives to bring the budget down quite a bit. Another thing that we've introduced this year into the Facebook group, the newsletter, and various other platforms is the ability for people to advertise. Obviously, we have very strict rules about business advertising on the Facebook page. Okay. So where was I? Advertising. Yeah. So we've introduced some advertising for the website. So as I say, we had we don't allow business advertising on the website, just purely from a spam perspective, because we found in the past that people just literally go quite crazy posting all their business and sort of thing. It should become very annoying for our users. So we've now implemented a thing where you can actually buy advertising, you can buy a post on the website, you can buy a spot on the newsletter, you can buy a spot on the website. Today we raised quite a bit of money through that, which is really encouraging with very little work. This coming year we'll be pushing that a lot harder. And then another form of communication that we have used previously but not too much before is newsletters. So if I can just encourage everybody to sign up for the newsletters on the website. We've got various newsletters. We've got a bi-monthly Praboa newsletter. We've got SafeBox weekly updates as well as SafeBox monthly updates as well. I think that's all from my side.
Thanks so much, Justin. If you receive our communications, do let Justin know, and he will add you to the list, or we'll make plans to get information to you if there's some technological break. I think that's very important. I'd like to hand you over to Natalie, who does some sterling work around environment.
Evening, everybody. Thanks for your time. The environment portfolio has participated in two things in the past year. As with last year, where we were the drivers and launchers of the Spread Day initiative, we participated again in September this year. This time it was really quite fun because we partnered with Victory Park on either side of the spread. They don't have a Res association at all, so they really wanted to work with us, and it was great to play with our neighbours. We've also launched a new initiative this year, which is to try and have a permanent cleaning crew who clean 2 or 3 days a week during summer and winter, especially along the Spruit, but also along the residential areas and along some of the areas where we know the section is becoming very messy. We've approached a number of people to sponsor us for that. The idea was actually put forward by one of the residents from a company called Genomics, who contributed significantly. We have private sponsors from members of the residents' community, and we're also now asking the estate agents. For something like that, we need regular sponsorship. I know you're already paying your fees, and some of the income from the village fair will be going to this clean initiative, but we need to keep going on a day-to-day basis. So if you know a corporate sponsor, or you want to get involved on a personal basis, it costs us about 7,000 Rand a month to keep the guys going on a regular basis. So I encourage everybody to get involved and get sponsoring. Forbes is here today. I want to thank her for getting involved and to pull other people involved in the process as well. I do have a great idea that's going to cost far too much money, but together with RNS Roofers and Andrew Clone from Beetroot, we're going to see if we can get the city parks to put a cleaning track a little bit further up the spread. They never want to because they can't maintain it, but we're going to keep fighting for it, and we're working with our other residents. And we also want to try and get some fencing up around the spread area where there is a particular problem with vagrants around the pirate section, but that's going to cost more money than we have as well. So those are the ambitions for the following year. There is, of course, also the Go Green initiative, and I'm sure that you can see on the Facebook page that there are a number of offerings to try and make sure that those who can and are able to get off the grid as much as possible within the Parkhurst area.
Well, that's one of my ideas.
I think the important thing to say about what Natalie does is she puts her mind to it, by God, it will happen. And it will happen on steroids as well. So Natalie, thank you for that. We all need to be affected by that ability. I'd like to go on to Paul now to discuss Verity Park and what's happening there.
Thanks, Cheryl. Good evening all. Thank you for coming. As was reported in the minutes, we took an initiative last year to invest some money in upgrading the children's play area. That was fenced off so that we could try and keep the dogs out of that area and keep it as clean as possible. We were able, notwithstanding the strike in the metal workers industry, to eventually get the jungle gym, rolling barrel and seesaw erected in the kids' play area, and it's great to see so many people using it. The 2 years that we've been in the park, we've invested 1.5 million in the children's play area. It's been a fantastic experience. 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 It's been a fantastic We also put in a bench and tables. We put in more benches in the park and more dustbins in the park because there never seems to be enough to collect what needs unfortunately to be collected. I don't share. We've done it. Captain Ayres, one of the residents, came to us with a request that there needed some benches in the swimming pool. The swimming pool's looking fantastic. We're getting lifeguards there on a regular basis, and it is being used by other residents. But there was no other people to sit. So it will be accounted for in the next year, but we did provide 3 paid sponsors for those, so people now have somewhere to sit. A couple other things we did, we got a new gate put in the park after about a year of trying to make access easier. In fact, it was installed one day before the village fair, and it was a requirement so we could get the vehicles in and get all the equipment in, so that was done. We also try to encourage more people to take responsibility for their animals' deposits. I said this last year, and I'll carry on saying, very kindly, Avril and Manson designer signs down the bottom of Parkhurst sponsors some signs which I put up everywhere. If you walk in the park, you'll see them. It's a reminder to be mindful of the fact that there are other people who use the park apart from you and your animals. And also encouragement to make a contribution, if possible, to the Verity Park User Group, which is aligned with and separate to Praboa, and the funds go to keeping the park clean. You have to pay somebody there to clean up. For those that don't, we have to pay for the bags that people do use who do clean up. And coming to that, just recently we've been very fortunate in having a sponsor come forward who will be funding that group to pay for the bags and pay for the salary of the person who does the collection. We're very grateful to Property.coza for that. And something which we are looking forward to, we've been approached by Tractor Advertising and Roberts Estates to put up a couple of solar powered lights in the park, so there will be some illumination in the evening hours, particularly in winter, and we're waiting to see whether that comes to fruition. And that's pretty much it for very well. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Paul never tires of keeping Verity Park looking to the top, so thank you for all of that. And I think if you are walking your dogs and their deposits are left unattended, Paul will be running after you the next day. So just consider this fair warning. I'd like to hand over now to Greg, who looks after all the building and related issues in Parklands.
I wish it was only that, Chair. Good evening, Chair. This has grown into a very substantial job for me. We originally started off just with the Heritage Act and giving the houses, which in Parkhurst, anything older than 60 years old, the plans have to be signed off for heritage. But it's extended to me assisting with building plans, trying to arrange situations where double-story houses are creeping up very, very strongly in our area. And I think in the words of Harold Macmillan, who made a speech in the early 60s in the South African Parliament, the winds have changed around Parkhurst. We are awash with double-story houses, people are buying houses, demolishing them and putting up 2. They're allowed 3 stories. It's a problem for most of our residents. They get overlooked, they're not used to the invasion. So I spend a lot of my time trying to arrange neighbourliness between people with overlooked windows. I've done 3 this week alone. I would say I did about 15 to 20 building sites in October alone. If there's a legal building site, I'll be involved in it. But there are a lot which are not legal, jobs being done behind walls. And one day is one day, and I've had 2 of these in the last 2 weeks. People sell their houses, the plans don't comply. with the as-built situation. The house is sold, buyer asks for plans, doesn't comply. What do we do? Phone Greg, make it right first. Not so easy to make it right, but I do try. So we have this quite extensively, so if you are selling your house, make sure plans comply. And you can always call on me to try and do that. As far as heritage is concerned, it's worked reasonably well. We have a couple of very nice heritage houses which have been considered very, very nicely. I think the one that takes the prize this year is in 6th Street near the top, Heritage Fabrics. Go and have a look at those two houses. They're absolutely original. They look as if they're wrapped in cellophane paper from the day they were built. It's a damn nice achievement for old houses that we have here. So as far as building is concerned, compliance is a difficult thing. The building inspector looks after Parkhurst, looks after another 5 other suburbs. But I've nagged him, baited him, got him on our side, so we've had some success in compliance. We did stop 2 jobs this year. 2 plans were submitted to council, and we got their pavements cleaned up. We can't succeed in every respect, but we do try. But there's still far too much rubber on pavements, skip waste, sand overflowing onto pavements, and so forth. Right. As far as building is concerned, and if there are tricky things, I do have a panel of 3 architects, which I'd like to thank: Maureen Campbell, Julie van Os, and Johan Lowe, who contributed to this. I don't make the decisions on my own if they're tricky. I do consult them, they're professional architects, and I get their opinion. So they've made quite a hefty contribution. As far as campaigning matters are concerned, we did have one great success this year. Shell Garage was going to be redeveloped. They weren't transparent to us. We objected. We got a lot of signatures. And we had this with the on-site tribunal, and we got a huge turnout of Parkhurst residents who arrived, and I think we overwhelmed the representatives of Shell, and when we went to the council for the hearing, they capitulated. So it was a victory for us for the time being. And we couldn't get a commitment out of them, but we were told that we were going to look at a major fast food business on the site. And the canopy was going to be changed, and there's a very good heritage house behind which was going to be altered. We had it set aside for the time being, and they promised to be transparent in the future. And I thank you for your help in that. And also, if we talk about campaigning and other matters, Bridget Steer, we must thank as well, who's moved back to Parkhurst from Greenside, although she is the chair of Greenside Residents Association. She's resident here, and she's damn good on all matters to do with town planning and so forth. Then Pirates Tennis and Bowls Club, which is a matter I've taken on personally. Those of you might be aware that Pirates have introduced 2 action football fields on 2 of their low disused tennis courts. Starts at 6, goes to 10, Monday to Friday. It's extremely noisy, about 45 houses are affected. We've tried every way to get Pirates to deal with the noise, and it hasn't resulted in very much action from them. So we thought, well, the best way to deal with Pirates is we'll talk to the landlords, which is the property company. And that way we've now got action, and we put the fear of, what, into Pirates. Not just for the online football, but of course they had a big do on Saturday where they had a lot of noise, and we've slammed it very heavily on this. So a lot of the Greenside residents as well are very upset with this. So this is my personal baby at the moment, and I had a meeting with Pirates yesterday, and they promised a barrier and all sorts of stuff, but we'll keep you posted. Last but not least is a thing which Tim Schulap and I and one of the other people have worked on, is that we've been offered the last remaining tin sheeting mining house, about 110 years old, on the West Rand, called the Lorraine House. It's ours. We just got to find a sponsor, 2 million, and we will move it to a position of Heritage Park. And it will become maybe a Parkhurst Museum, a meeting trust, and that's what we'll use it for. I'm doing some of the history research to find out who the mine belonged to originally, what it was merged into, and see if we can pick a conscience and see if the mining companies can find 2 million to donate to. I'm getting there, and I'm quite confident we're going to achieve that. The detailed aspect of my report is on the website, and just really thankful to people that worked very hard during this past year. And I supported me and I support them through this, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. And if you want to know about your ceilings or windows or all of those sorts of things, here's the hands right. I'd like now to hand over to James, who's going to discuss the issue of safe parks and safety generally in Parkhurst. And I'm sure some of you might have heard that this is happening, so here you go.
Thank you, sir. I don't want to go into too much history of how we got here. Most of you have heard this before, through emails, through AGMs, through meetings and so on. So I'm more going to talk about the present where we're at right now. Praboa. So Safe Park started as a joint initiative between Parks and North and a bunch of organizations. It now falls under Praboa. So it's part of the Praboa group, if you like. It's the security initiative of Praboa. It's under the control of residents of Parkhurst. It's not under control of one security company. We have chosen and elected to work with a specific security company, but we manage that the solution. Recently, there has been quite an uptick in crime in Parkhurst, and not just Parkhurst, but surrounding suburbs as well. We're not alone in this. We believe our initiative and our solution that we're working towards will help to resolve a lot of that crime. However, nothing is a silver bullet. There is no silver bullet solution that can stop our crime altogether. Unfortunately, we haven't got the membership up to where we would like it to be and need it to be. And in order to get to the solution further down towards the end goal. But we're making our way there. The oversight committee, the guys who spend the time trying to get Safe Parks up and running and working and get the membership up, Morris Howard in the front row there and myself, we basically been championing it. Justin has come in and helped us a lot just recently. But we really do need more members and more helpful hands that are willing to contribute and help us get this right and make sure CSS is doing their job, any ways of improving the existing solution. It takes a lot of time and effort, it really does. We spend a lot of time and effort dealing with residents' concerns and issues and whatever else. And we actually work full time. We've got quite a few morning jobs. So we have put that request out there before, and we're now very serious about bringing in people to help us. So if you are a paid-up member of Safe Parks and Praboa, please let us know. Send your email to admin@safeparks.joburg, and we will be taking it further. What we will be having as the Oversight Committee is bi-monthly meetings with CSS and ourselves, chatting about the various crime that takes place, about issues that have cropped up, and how progress basically, what we're doing, what aren't we doing, and how we can improve. At present, as of 18th November, we have 375 public space security contributors. I think that's pretty good considering the circumstances and the time frames. In addition to that, we've got 233 Parkhurst residents that contribute or have taken up CSS for their armed response, their household security. We understand that we are basically managing the PSS or public space security. That's what our main objective is. However, we do have oversight of home installations and home security as well. So you're not a voice standing alone, you are do behind Safe Parks, and we have a good relationship with CSS, so we'd like to think that it's in your interest to take up CSS as home security as well. Also keep in mind that all contributions, if it's home security, if it's public space security, it all goes into the pot, and all those funds and contributions are used for resources in Parkhurst. So it's not seen as PSS contributions alone go towards public space, or contributions go towards our public space security. So please, if you would be interested in moving over to your household security PSS, let us know. There's also, We're about 70% of the way towards our first phase, installation or implementation, that is monetary. It's important to note that the 30% deficit that we haven't achieved yet is being funded at risk by CSS. So we really need more support, more people contributing to our scheme. So, what is our rollout to date? At the moment, as part of stage 1, we have a 24-hour patrol vehicle. This is all dedicated just to parkers, by the way, not between the two suburbs, part-time and parkers. We have a 12-hour strike team. The strike team is a more highly trained group. If you see them in action or see them on the street, you kind of get a sense when you start talking to them of their professionalism and their capability. And in addition to that, we have a 12-hour dedicated area setting up there. Great chap, again, very serious chap, and it's very dedicated in special operations, in helping to deal with situations as they arise. And he, again, has his own dedicated vehicle. So in essence, we have 3 vehicles that are patrolling Park Coast. We did have a 4th at one point, which is part of Praboa, the 4th Avenue Restaurants Owners Association. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite get it together, the association, so it kind of crumbled, unfortunately, but hopefully they can resurrect their own initiative. It wasn't fun, and CSS is a charity with that. In addition to the vehicles, we've got 7 poles for cameras being erected, alongside strategic security points. These are entry exit points to parkers. 4 more poles are being erected. This will result in 17 overview cameras or CCTV cameras in strategic areas, obviously, and 3 number plate recognition cameras as well. Okay. If you don't know, number plate recognition, basically it's geared, it's there to focus on number plates of vehicles. That's its primary objective. What we're also trying to get out of that is the make and model of the car and color. Primarily, it's looking at registration plates, and then we upload manually ourselves, suspicious vehicles, and then obviously it checks all the different databases across the country. So that's phase 1. The installations are not fully operational yet, and the reason for that is we were told that the waivings that were in place, waivings are basically military trench and move fiber around, you have to have waivings. We had valid waivings until just recently, and unfortunately, by the time we put these poles up, the waivings have expired. So now we have to get new waivings, and that's the name. It's very frustrating for us and for you, I'm sure. But we're very close, so those will be operational shortly. Stage 2 and stage 3, obviously, it's on subscriptions, on contributions. We can't. CSS again is not a charity. We need to fund this by commitment from the community, and so we're pitching once again. Stage 2, what we'll look at is further cameras, CCTV cameras at entry points. We will complete the full border, so there'll be 12 number plate recognition cameras. In total at that point, we'll have 26 CCTV cameras and 12 number plate recognition cameras. Stage 3 will be 6 infrared thermal cameras along the spread. So we're looking to, obviously they will work during the day as ordinary cameras, at night they're going to be picking up hot body activity. So we know that a lot of the crime is coming in from the spread. We can protect the roads with the number plates to an extent. Then obviously CCTV as well, and then the thermal cameras along the spread for any movements when it shouldn't be. Yeah. What will appeal to you to do for us, the committee, as parkers, for the community? The reason we put up signs as contributors along people's roads, people outside people's houses, is so that people are aware who is contributing and who isn't. We feel we do this because we've made what we believe is the best decision for the community and the suburb of parkers. If people aren't contributing, why aren't they contributing? And even if it's just a public space, you don't have to live your own spots, but at least public space. We don't see a reason why anybody shouldn't be contributing. So talk to your neighbours, go appeal to them. If you can, that would be great. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. There are details there on the websites, all of the contact details, the sales team, any issues you have, please start off with support of core admin at safeparks.joburg. And Livia, where is Livia? Okay. She's great. She's absolutely fantastic. She joined us recently to help us. She's not going to be with us for too much longer. She's got up commitments. But she's great. She's managing all the concerns that we have. So if you do have anything you don't board up, you don't understand, anything's that's not happening, come to us. We've got some little agreements in place for CSS. If they aren't performing, we need to know and escalate and then we can enforce penalties and so on. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, James. Look, I think we've come an incredibly long way. It hasn't been an easy route, but I think now that it's in place, we really need to do all that we can to make Parkhurst a fantastic place. It already is brilliant, but I think the last thing we need to aim for, I think, is to get all these walls down and be able to just live in and enjoy our suburb as it ought to be done. And part of the lifestyle that we, I think, are aiming to has been curated to a large extent by Lizette, who's going to speak to the next thing. Lizette is the person, I think, who really has helped to build brand Parkhurst in the eyes of not only ourselves, but the people of Johannesburg. People know about Parkhurst, they think about it, and it's largely to do with the events that Lizette has thought about and has run, and has got a committee underneath her to do what needs doing to make this happen. So Lizette, there you go.
Thanks, Jo. Hi, everyone. In 2014, the events subcommittee came into being. About a year and a half ago, I stood here, Cheryl and I were the only two on the events committee, and we asked for volunteers. And boy, we get volunteers. So we decided in 2014 to rebrand and reboot the Parkhurst Village Fair. We first of all moved it back to Verity Park, to where it originated from, I believe. And the idea we had is to create an event that had curated selection of stalls that included Parkhurst businesses and lifestyle products that spoke to the Parkhurst lifestyle, and also to the greater Parks community who also visit these events. We only charged a very, very nominal fee of 10 rand entrance because we didn't know how this new village fair was going to be received by the public. We had quite the marketing behind it, lots of Facebook marketing, a new website, and we managed to pull it off, and 4,500 people attended that event alone. But what we learned from this is that it's very expensive to have a village fair or to have an event like that. It's from last year alone, it was 75,000 rand base cost just to have the event. So we need to make that money back, and we more or less broke even on that event. But it took a lot of time, it took a lot of planning, and it took a lot of money. And it gave us a launch back of this year's fair, which I will speak to later. Then later in the year, last year, we had our second annual Halloween event. Now, this is the event where we give back to Parkhurst. We don't raise any funds from the event. We just encourage people to go out into the streets, kids and adults alike, for one night only, to make the streets safe, make them our own, to engage with your neighbors. And in 2013, we had over 100 kids and adults. In 2014, last year, probably about 150. And this year, we had over 200 kids and adults participate. And it was a huge success. People were going to neighbors' houses and doors to open to welcome people. And this is a wonderful, wonderful community event. We're so proud of. And like I said, there's no fundraising in this event. This is an event for the community to make progress for what it is. And we thank you for everyone who with such enthusiasm takes part in this event, the houses, but also the businesses who sponsor the prizes. And thank you so much everyone for taking part in that from its inception in 2013 up until the hugely successful 2015 one. Then at the beginning of the year we had the picnic, and the picnic came about because of a request from everyone who attended last year's village fair saying, why don't you have this event twice a year? And we decided actually we wanted to keep the village fair special as an annual event, but maybe do something a little bit different. I want to thank JP Hansen, who's not here tonight, who coaching with me because I was on study leave, so he is to thank for the very successful branding of that event. The biggest cost from that event was unfortunately because we had to postpone it due to very high seasonal rain in November, and we eventually had it in January. But again, it was a huge success, and which I believe also led to the success of the village fair. Together with this year's village fair, we've managed to raise over 150,000 rand from all these events from last year up until now. The bulk of this money came from, like I mentioned, this year's fair. The base cost of this year's fair was well over 100,000 rand. And on top of that, because of what happened at the picnic, we decided to take out road insurance, which added hugely to our cost. But we raised the entrance fee to 50 rand per adult, to 20 rand per kid, and this contributed hugely to our proceeds. The funds accumulated today by the events committee has now been invested in a donation towards the Parkers Primary for kindly lending their grounds to use for parking for the fair each year, towards naturally sprayed cleanups, as well as installing the benches at the Parkers swimming pool. We want to thank the community for supporting these events, and I just want to thank my subcommittee, Cheryl, Philippa, Natalie, Calvary, Marika, Bevan, Brenton, Alka, JP, Andrew, Alvin, Donna, and Joel for making these events possible, and for offering up their Saturday mornings, the weekday nights, working late into the hours, and I couldn't ask for better people to work with on the Praboa committee and with the subcommittee. And yes, I encourage you to continue supporting the Parkers events, as this is very important for raising the funds to give back into our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisette. And as I said, Lisette really is the spark behind all of these things. So to her, thank you very much. And I must let out one little secret, and that's that red wine helps a lot. Okay, I'd like to hand over now to Chris to discuss the matter of a new constitution for proposal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All my fellow committee members have been telling you something nice and interesting. I'm going to be boring. Unfortunately, we need to have rules to work by, and we had a constitution which was rather old-fashioned and forced rather old-fashioned governance structures. I'd like to propose the constitution which is been on the website, a much more modern constitution that will enable us to take advantage of any tax breaks we can possibly get out of the revenue service, to make it easier to govern, and even to make, when we say we make it easier, we also can keep better control over such things as our finances. I don't think the old constitution really worked for having modern bank accounts. It just required that the treasurer didn't sign checks. Yes, that's right. So now we're going to have to work it, and I would formally like to propose and ask you to adopt the constitution which has been up on the website, and you should have all had an opportunity to have a look at. Cheryl, we have to go things slightly differently because I made a formal proposition, which I hope that everyone is going to support, but I must invite questions or discussions before you actually vote. Ladies and gentlemen.
It's a constitutional requirement.
No, you know, that worries me. It worries me we've got a small audience too. Are you that happy with us that you can't, that you can't tell us off or something? No? No questions? Right?
Right.
Okay.
There we go.
Cheryl, you're going to ask for a vote, I suppose?
Yes, right. May I have an indication of support for adopting the updated and much more useful constitution?
Are we allowed to vote? Yeah.
Yes, please by hand. Thank you. May I have a show against the proposition? I think that's unanimous. Thank you all.
Yay.
Consider it accepted. Right, and I think what is not very evident here is the incredible amounts of work that Chris does in nitpicking. He's the most fantastic nitpicker you could ever hope to. And he'll annoy you, and he'll nag you, and he'll do all sorts of things, but it's all for good reason, and he's found some incredible things that we haven't been taking advantage of. So to Chris, thank you for being the best nitpicker around. We really appreciate that. Right, I think we can now move on to general. As I said, questions, please, if they could be kept as broad as possible to apply to the most number of people. Are there any questions? You can state in terms of which portfolio it is. I'll hand the mic over to the appropriate person. Are there any questions? Sipo? Sorry, let me bring the... Oh, sorry, just before I hand over to Sipo, there's a car outside of the boot open, a white compressor, is it? No, compressor, 100 PGJGE. It's your car? Oh, it's gone.
Thank you, Sharon. I think we must, my name is Sipo. I'm on the side of 12th Street. I think we must organize the association for the Commons for doing such a great job. We really make us proud, and I'm sure that we get a round of applause from the residents. I heard a lot about the living countries, and thanks for the fire about thank you. It's just a small moment. I don't remember when the last time I paid for my annual membership. Because we don't get reminders. So I just want to please remind us to pay because we are very busy. It's not a simple report. And we want to have to pay with our membership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that should be automatic, and that means that you probably somehow aren't on our database. I don't know why, but I'll get your email address.
I put it automatically, but then I was
Yeah. Right.
I just say a thing. We are doing a lot of work to make sure everything is easy for you to pay and for us to collect the money. I mean, we don't want to have to collect your money, and if we could get the council to pay us, we'll be only too happy. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you have problems, the telephone number is there. Indeed, all our telephone numbers are on the website. But please remember, we don't just work for Praboa.
Right, next question.
Hi, my name is Alex, with 90th Street. I would like to ask if the committee ever considered registering as a non-profit organization, because that would potentially encourage more people to become members.
Sorry, I can answer that one. Yes, very much. Yes, very much so. One of the reasons for the new constitution was to tie up exactly what the Revenue Service says, what it wanted to see in the constitution. Now we've got it. First thing I will do is send a nice certified copy to Colin, whose job it will be to go up to Pretoria and haggle.
Right, there you go. And that will also in fact impact on your safe partners contribution to public space security. So remember that, get signed up.
Thank you, Judy. One first, 21st Street. To regards the safe parks, was James. Well done, congratulations. It's a very easy job to do. And I've endorsed it, and they know my changes immediately. Trying to convince other people will be quite difficult because of the lack of information on our progress. And the couple that come up quite often is in the initial proposal was for 158 cameras around Parkhurst. The new proposal now has 3 phases. It gets up to 53 cameras. So just those sort of things, it's hard to explain to somebody who's against going to safe parks, saying where's the discrepancy. The other thing is, the 4th Avenue, we withdrew the vehicle. Most of our new cameras on 4th Avenue, you seem to be supporting somebody who isn't really behind it as well. Unless, I don't know, whether it's a tactical thing, where the criminals can suffer first before they come out. Sure. But it's a hard sell. And I know you busy as well, and I was sure it's a hard sell if you don't have all that information. For those people who really against the idea.
Thank you.
Thanks. Very valid questions in the current time again. First of all, the original rollout that we envisaged and wanted was when PubSec was part of us. PubSec had the public space security contributions that came to PubSec were supposed to be able to be signed over to wherever they had chosen to go. Quartec did not comply. So we went into this with an understanding there was a base level of income. On that income, that was going to be 158 cameras across the 2 suburbs. Okay. So immediately we were actually relied upon new membership, not existing membership. And that's where things, there was a contrast in what we were expecting to enter data from and to actually what we actually could. So that's the difference there. Does that make sense? Then as far as the 4th Avenue goes, we had great promises from Borough and not without huge courage and persistence from Sean Barber of Rockets to try and head up the initiative. In the end, after much promises backwards and forwards, only 2 restaurants were willing to contribute to the initiative. There's no way we can fight it. So we initially put in the cameras with the understanding that they were a dedicated vehicle, they were going to find a few cameras, and we were going to find 2 cameras, 2 poles. What you will see happening is all of those cameras will pull from those poles. There will be no cameras of ours on the them. As it stands right now. All of our cameras are going to go to the perimeter, to the entry exit points, to non-located recognition, again, entry exit point for the vehicles, and then thermal on the spray. That's where our cameras are going right now. That's where we feel, with the limited resources we have, that we're investing in limited. And we are talking to some businesses that have shown interest in funding and being part of this, but it's going to, we're going to have to just take it as a almost block and business by business and see if they can fund cameras themselves. But no, to answer your question, I hope that those cameras are going to be pulled, and the pulse will stay there because we're hoping to get to that point when those cameras will be standing and funded by either us or Farah or business owners, but we're not going to fund those cameras. Okay, thanks.
Thanks so much. I think the other thing to remember is that success does breed success. So as we've seen safe parks launch, as we start to see the vehicles, we are getting uptake. So that's very promising, but please all encourage your friends, your neighbours, and those who know the neighbourhood. Are there any further questions of the general nature? Right, so there's one more.
Hi, I'm here. It's a question around derivative behavior regarding parking and golf. And the state of the golf photos, particularly, people complain, the dogs complain, but they don't always know trying to do something about the cause of the issue. So in terms of just responding to safe park and doing their bit and being more observant, also like to feedback from the domestic watch, and be involved at the time, and how their involvement is contributing to item from, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, there is the domestic workers watch, which happens on a monthly basis. I think those people who would like to know more drop us a mail, and I can also forward to Nikki, and we will bring that back. But it is going on. We do send out notices about that every so often. We do put the information on the websites and so on. So please keep eyes on that. Any further questions or thoughts?
Is George not going to add this? Is George here?
Hi, it's George on 19th Street. It's just one comment. I think this is for the Verity Park initiative. Recently, I've been trying to walk my dogs in the morning as well, and I think they are, it is disgusting to see, dog poo, especially in the mornings, as it would be in the park when people are just chatting to each other. But I think there's probably 100% strike rate of domestic helpers and guys that walk that do not pick up. I've never seen one of them pick up the dogs too, and generally it's much bigger dogs, and so it does make it hard, I have to say, to walk your dog in the morning. If maybe people here in your WhatsApp groups, if you could let your domestics and helpers know that they should be doing that, because I don't think it's something they can think about, but also just people in general. I mean, it's nice to have someone picking up, getting someone to pay someone to pick up dog food, but it's actually disgusting if you think about it, that people can't do it themselves for their own pets. So it's really just pressing more on awareness. I don't do any social media, Facebook, I do, so for those, if you want to put it on the partner's website, and just generally get that out, because it's not a pleasant sight.
Thanks, Paul. We're all duly notified. Right, I think that's about it. I'd like to thank you all for coming, but before we go, we have the last important matter of electing a committee for the new year. We will have co-opted 4 members, as I mentioned during my presentation. We co-opted 4 members during the course of the year. Those 4 members will stand down in terms of the Constitution, and Paul Johnson has offered as well to stand down. And the committee, the entire committee, including co-opted members, have offered themselves for re-election. We've also had the nomination of Andrew Watts. Oh, it's gone off. We've also had the nomination of Andrew Watts, who has put up his hand to volunteer. So we've got all but one of the Watts families to the committee if elected. May I have, by show of hands, please, support for the re-election of the committee and with the addition of Andrew Watts?
Can I vote for Andrew and not myself?
Right, are there any people against the proposal? Thank you. I consider this really important. Thank you all so much.
May I just say one thing? You have an excellent committee, but I'm disappointed that someone else doesn't want to lighten our burden. Please, help. I don't think there's a single committee member who isn't at times overwhelmed by this. We enjoy it, but we'd like more people organised so that if as Colin said, if a couple of us fell dead from exhaustion, we'd have plenty of people around us who knew what to do.
Very quickly, may I just ask that each member of the committee formally introduces themselves? I know some first names, I suspect I know who they are. I don't actually know who everyone is.
Excellent, absolutely. That's brilliant. It's one of those obvious things that you just don't think about. So thank you very much. We'll do that. And before I forget, once again, thank you so much, Kevin from CEF, for providing us with refreshments and some snacks. So as you do pop out or you want to chat, don't forget to get something to eat. I'm not going to close the meeting yet. We will do the introduction. And then we can close after that. So my name's Cheryl. I've been chair for a while. I do hope that you'll see a fresh face here next year.
Not if we got anything to say.
I'm Ryan, and I've been helping with various systems, the debit orders, and so on.
Just give your street as well. So.
I live on 17th Street.
I'm Ray Gershon, I live in 5th Street. I'm a jewelry shop fitting manufacturer. I'm getting too old for this job. I'm going to need somebody next year. I'm really 68. But I'll do it for another year, and so I'll look around here and see who can possibly assist. Thank you very much.
I'm Justin McCall. I'm the marketing, I do all the marketing communications for Praboa and SafePoints. I'm also the guy that you love to hate on our love Parker's group that deletes your posts. So if you want to aim your frustrations, aim it at me. Thanks.
Yeah, his work is very taxing. Natalie Zimmerman, I live in 14th Street. I look after the environment portfolio as much as I can.
Hello, I'm Chris Diamond. As she rightly says, I pick lips and try to keep Cheryl in order. It's difficult. The most difficult thing is for her to get her actually to do what she's supposed to. Never mind. I've been in Parkhurst 35 years, and I've got lots of estate agents looking for my house to sell, and I keep telling them they'll need to talk to my executors.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Watts, live in 9th Street, and been in Laser for 4 years, and I'm chairing the events committee on behalf of the borough.
Hi, my name is James Bowling, it's a security portfolio, and I have also 8th Street.
Good evening, Colin Brody, I'm the treasurer, and I've been the longest serving member of the committee, but I do the least. It is fun, so I do really urge people to get involved. I've got this black and brown dog that's forever roaming around. Some of you are phoning me. I am organising colour stats, so hopefully her doggy will be kept at home. And I do pick up his poo on the car.
I'm Paul Johnson. I've lived in 13th Street for the last 29 years, and I look after the 2 P's, the park and the poo.
Right, so the only person who's not here is Ryan Beach, who has got an incredibly heavy work week this week. So Ryan Beach is the person who's running the breed specifically. Yes, and we're going to introduce you to Andrew, but yeah, so he's not here. Andrew.
Anyone from one street, on this, better hope period, we'll see you next meeting.
And right down there, we have Emma Ross, who, as soon as she's able to read and write with any great fluency, will be on the committee too. So that's a good advice right there. Right, Marius, I think we need to introduce you just as an additional second class.
Thanks, Cheryl. Marius Homewood. We live in 15th Street, and I help James with a whole lot of safeguards. And before you go to leave the group, please sign up. Okay.
Okay, The single most important person for the next month at least is going to be here who could deal with a lot of queries. So you can stand up and say hi if you continue.
Hi, if you need anything, please drop me an email at admin@congress.org and we'll sort out all your membership problems. And also, if you have any comments on CSS, you need to send through to us, please. And like Laura said,
Right, so we've got to be here for another month. She's done marvelous in the time that she's been with us, so thank you to be here. Unless there are any other questions and other issues, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for coming. Thanks very much. Meeting is closed, and we'll see you all at our next public meeting. Thank you.